product images that attract and convert. In this lesson, you're going to discover why your product images are so important and also the type of images you should be using. So images are conversion magnets, and they are the second most important element of your product listing after your title. And they are the most important when it comes to getting customers to your page. And this is because when customers search for products on Amazon, how your images stand out from your competition is what is going to help with encouraging them to click on your listing and not someone else's. Now, the one drawback to online shopping is that you can't touch and feel the product like you can if you visit a store. So your images have to provide this sensory experience as much as possible. Image types. So first of all, your main product image, and then you have secondary product images. And these might include lifestyle images, instructional images, and images showing benefits, but we're going to cover this in more detail later in this lesson. Now, it's important, the minimum size for any image should be 1000 by 1000 pixels, but bigger is better. And we recommend going to 1500 by 1500 pixels if possible. The main reason for this is it makes your photo zoomable. So if someone puts their mouse cursor over the image, then it zooms in, and I'm sure you've seen this on Amazon pages. So main product image rules. It has to be a pure white background, and it must have no badges or text on the image, and it should be the product only, but you do have a little bit of leeway with this to add packaging, and as you'll see from the taco images, they also include a taco in the holder. Now, strictly speaking, that could be against TOS. However, Amazon are pretty lenient this way. The most important thing is they don't want text or badges or anything like that on the image. Now, a square image is best. It shows up better in the search results. And make sure all extra white space is cropped out and as high quality as possible. Now, if you look at the image on the right, you can see exactly what we're talking about. Now, it's not square. That's the only downside to it. You can see it's slightly higher than it is wide, but you can see they've cropped out all the white space they can. This means if you go and look at this product on Amazon, the image pops beautifully on the search results, and also when you zoom on it, it's even better. Secondary image rules. So with the secondary image, you do have a lot more leeway to do extra things. For instance, it can have any color background. Again though, square is best and as high quality as possible. And the beautiful thing, and you're going to be seeing examples of this, is you can add text to your secondary images. And this becomes very important when we portray the benefits of our products using these images. But here's a couple of examples of lifestyle images. Again, it's the watch. And you can see you've got someone running in the park with the watch. And you've also got someone running on a treadmill using that watch. But we're going to look at a lot more things you can do with your secondary images. So how many images should you use? Well, product listings in general have 9 image slots. Now, not all show without having to click a button. Normally, 7 will show up where you can just hover over them to see them. But normally, 8 and 9, you have to click on a button to see more images. So the first 7 are the most important, but use all 9 slots. And again, I'm going to remind you, your main image should be product only and not include text or badges. Secondary images. So, as I said, product listings have 9 image slots and we want to use them all. So basically, we have 8 slots we can use for our secondary images. We want to show benefits. So all the benefits you discovered while doing your research and creating your title and bullet points, you want to show as many of these as you can in your secondary images. And you can simply reiterate your bullet points. You also can add lifestyle images, and where appropriate, you can also use dimensions. If the size of your product is important, then show an image with the sizes of your product. Now, there are other things you can do. You can show accessories, but only accessories that come with your product. And we'll also be looking at showing, and you can also use the risk reversal that we used in the bullet points, but we'll show you that later. So how do you get your images created prior to inventory? Well, you can take a photograph of your sample, and then you can go to somewhere like Pixels, P-I-X-E-L-Z, to remove the background so that it's white. You can also go to fiverr.com and search remove image background. Once you have a label, get a graphic designer to add the label to your sample photo. And this applies to your logo too. Updating after inventory. So once the inventory is ready, ask your supplier to express you 1 or 2 units before inventory is shipped, or even at the same time. Alternatively, once your product arrives at Amazon, you can create a fulfillment order to send the product to a photographer. Now, when it comes to finding a photographer, there are bound to be professional photographers in your area. Ask them if they can do product shots, and also if they have models so they can do lifestyle shots. But the most important thing is getting that main image, because you can give that main image to designers to have your secondary images created. Now, you can go to Resource Vault and have a look in there, but one company we recommend for taking professional photographs is productphotography.com. Now, they are not cheap, but remember, the quality of these photos is so important. So you need to figure out your budget and basically get the best images you can within that budget. Now, you can also create a fulfillment order to send the product to yourself if you didn't have your supplier express 1 or 2 units to you. And you can then actually get the photograph done yourself. If you go to Amazon and search for photo white box or product photo white box, something along those lines. But let's take a quick look on Amazon. So you can see I've just searched for product photo white box. You can also search for mini studio, studio box, any of those kind of keywords. But you see these products here and they'll range in price. This one here, considering it's Amazon Basics, is incredibly expensive. It's $135. But you can see one here, it's $13.36, and it will probably do what you need it to do. And again, most of these you can get for around the $15, and you don't need the most expensive version. And then as you can see from this image here, and we'll click on it to take a closer look. And here is the perfect example of what zoomable means. But you can see that all it is a small box. It's got lights at the top to illuminate the product with a white background. And then you just simply take the picture with your iPhone or Android phone, whatever smartphone you've got. The quality of the images you get now with smartphones is absolutely fantastic. And right now, if you can't afford the budget to get a professional photo done, then you can do this yourself. And remember, the most important thing is getting that main product photo with the white background, because you can then give that to designers to create your secondary images for you. So let's take a closer look at our secondary images. So you use your product image, the one we've just talked about, and you can also use stock photographs and then find a designer to create the secondary images for you. So in other words, you use a stock photo and then you get the designer to add your product image to that stock photo. And you can also use a photo enhancement service, and you can check out the private vault for more recommendations. But let's look at some examples. So this is an example of a main image, and it's pretty good. Now, there is a chance that Amazon might ask you to remove the tacos from the shot or the packaging, but we have not seen any instances of this at all, as long as you're not adding badges or messages. And also on the box, make sure that no website is visible. So if you have your website on your packaging, make sure you can't see that in the photo. Don't try and be sneaky. That will get your photo removed. But here's an example of a terrible image. So this came from a 4-pack. You can see it's blurry, and that's because it was a tiny picture that was not zoomable. But also, it's very boring and bland. And if you look in the top left and the bottom right, they're doing 2 things that you're not allowed to do with the main image. That's one is to have a badge. So you can see the 4-pack, you are not allowed to have something like that in your image. And in the bottom right, they're actually using Amazon's logo, which again, you're not allowed to use. But the main thing here to note is it's a very boring picture. If we go back to this one, you can see it's much more enticing. You're much more likely to get a click. Now, one thing I should mention here. So for a taco holder, it is a pretty boring product. It's just a piece of metal, basically. So you do have to do extra work to make it stand out. But if you've got an interesting looking product anyway, then you can just have the product on your image and nothing else. There's no need to add anything if your product image looks good. The easy way to tell whether that's the case or not is go and look at your competition. If the vast majority of your competition are just using a very basic image of the product, then that's the way to go. Here's an example of the benefits image, and it actually came from the same listing as our first image. And you can see at the top left there, they've got dishwasher, grill, and oven safe. So that was some of the key things that we wanted to bring out. And while it's more of a feature than a benefit, it's still pretty good. And then if we look further down, you can see it's got little zoomed in images, which are very cool, that are describing with handles for easy use and premium quality food grade stainless steel. So while this is a good image, they're talking about features and not benefits. So that is one thing I would want to change. Now we've gone to the extreme here. We just had this thrown up because obviously we're not selling a taco holder. So we just threw this image together and you can see this is a benefit. Okay. You see before that you've dropped the taco, it's on the floor and it is a bit extreme, but then underneath you've got a nice clean image of the taco holder with the tacos in it. And you can see this is a before and after shot, and in the middle we've got no more messy tacos. So we're trying to evoke the benefits of our product. And as I said, we threw this up in a few minutes. We didn't really put a lot of thought into it, but it's the kind of thing you can use. You can basically do pretty much anything you want to do with your secondary images. So here's another benefits image. Again, these are more features than benefits. You know, it's got perfect presentation. Round slots perfectly hold your tacos for a stunning presentation. So they are mentioning the benefit there. So it's not too bad. Handles for convenience. And then they've got the benefit underneath. What I would want to do is actually have the benefit as the title, kind of like we did with the bullet points. Handles provide convenience for seamless transportation to and from the kitchen. I would probably want to be adding something like don't drop your food, don't drop the tray, something along those lines. And then they've got FDA approved and BPA free, which is a good thing to use if it's true. Obviously, if you're not FDA approved, then don't put something like that on an image. And then they've got the stainless steel construction. And I think that's the grade in the box above. I'm not too sure how great that is. But again, this is more about showing you what you are able to do. If they'd done a better job of actually listing benefits here rather than features, then this would be a really good image. But the construction of the image is super cool. You know, it stands out, it's simple to read, so it's a good example. Now the dimensions I mentioned briefly. This again is from the same listing as the first image. They did a pretty good job actually. There was only a couple of things they missed out. But because we know from our research and from when we created our bullet points that size is important because a lot of reviews said they were too big for a plate, giving the dimensions in this way makes sense. So if dimensions are important for your product, then create something like this. The only thing I would say is they've got all this dark area above and below. I would have liked to see text, maybe saying something like fits an average dinner plate, something along those lines. Lifestyle images are basically just someone using a product. I had to go through 7 or 8 listings to find one. And in general, most of the taco listings out there have just got pictures of a taco holder with a taco in it and then shown in a different setting, and they were pretty terrible. Lifestyle, you want a human using this. If someone sees a picture of a human being using your product, then your customer can see themselves using your product. And that's half the battle. The risk reversal promise, again, we just threw this up. As you can see, it hasn't got our product in it or anything. It's basically just a picture of some people in a kitchen. But it's lifetime promise. If there are any problems with our taco holders, we'll send you another set free of charge. It's risk reversal. Now, with a cheap product, that's less of an issue. But at the end of the day, as we discussed before, if someone's trying to make that decision and not quite there, then this is what this promise is all about. It's risk reversal for your customer. So that's how you get your images created. Obviously, all products are different, but wherever possible, try and show the benefits of your product in your images. And then if you've got a couple of spare spots, add your lifetime promise, then maybe a lifestyle image or a dimensions image. So we covered how to create your conversion magnet images. In the next lesson, you will discover how to choose your initial product price, your action steps, create your photos as best as you can right now, and remember you can update these later. As you will see when we create the entire listing, it's a super simple thing to upload an image to Amazon. But that's it for this lesson. Take care.